When criminals are in court, most are extremely respectful, but sometimes these defendants are hiding a dirty secret that they don't want out.
He impregnated Erica Patterson when she was a minor in Nevada.
Since you think you know so much,
Once
so
again,
we can
Mr.
open the
Brooks
door
is
on
being
we can
loud,
open the door on how old she told me she was when we met.
interrupting.
This is the insane case of Daryl Brooks and how his disrespect in court turned to his darkest secrets being exposed. On November 21st, 2021, in the small town of Waukesha, Wisconsin, a terrifying crime would occur. On this specific day, crowds would gather around the town square for the annual Waukesha Parade. The parade is thrown every year and is a great time for families to go and watch. However, this parade would turn unexpectedly tragic.
¡Oh, my God! Si la pasaba a atropellar a la niña. ¡Oh, my God!
Only minutes before the parade, a man would be seen getting into an argument with his girlfriend that would turn violent. That same man would then attempt to drive home in a red SUV. However, he would be blocked by the parade. Without a second thought, that same red SUV would enter the parade route, breaking down barricades to get in. Going 40 miles per hour, the red SUV would speed through the parade, not stopping for anyone. First responders would be alerted instantly.
I have shots fired, Wisconsin and West, and I'm checking for injuries. There was someone running through the parade route.
The SUV would continue to speed through the parade, stopping for no one before disappearing. In total, 6 people would be killed, dozens would be injured, and everyone in Waukesha's life would be changed forever. Soon after the SUV disappeared, a man could be seen running through yards of houses before landing on the porch of a house where he begs to be let in.
I called an Uber, and I'm supposed to be waiting for it over here, but I don't know when it's coming. Can you call it for me, please?
The owners of the house would call the authorities, who would quickly arrest the suspect. Daryl Brooks had an extremely turbulent past. Born and raised in Milwaukee, at a young age, Brooks would learn that life is not fair. Without a father in his life, Brooks would be raised by his mother and grandmother, who did everything they could to support him, but it wasn't enough. At the age of 12, Brooks would be diagnosed with bipolar disorder, and by the age of 17, he would already be charged with his first felony, which would result in a sentence of 2 years in prison. Once he got out, Brooks would hop from state to state, committing crimes across the U.S. In 2005, he would face criminal charges in Manitowoc. In 2020, he would be charged with felon in possession of a firearm after he allegedly shot at his nephew and a friend. But most importantly, in 2006, he would become a convicted predator after impregnating a 15-year-old girl. 5 months before the parade, Brooks would be arrested for domestic violence while staying at the Country Hearth Inn in Union City after beating his girlfriend, Erica Patterson. Just 3 weeks before the parade, Brooks would get into yet another argument with Patterson and would punch her in the face before hitting her with his vehicle. At this point, Patterson knew that she had to get away from Brooks, so she would flee to Waukesha while Brooks was in jail. This all leads up to the day of the parade, where Brooks would drive to Waukesha to unexpectedly meet with Patterson. Obviously thrown off by this, Patterson would get into yet another argument with Brooks, which would lead to Brooks assaulting her before fleeing in a red SUV. Mad from what just occurred, Brooks would attempt to drive home, but there was a parade blocking his exit. So instead of taking a detour around the event, Brooks would drive his red SUV through the parade, plowing over barricades and people. Brooks, realizing what he had just done, would attempt to flee the scene by ditching the SUV and running through yards, trying to get into houses. Eventually, this would lead to Brooks's arrest. During the interrogation, Brooks would attempt to lie to the officers.
For the love of God, Marcus. For yourself, for your family. You know what happened yesterday. For the people. Tell me what happened.
With what?
With the car.
What am I being
With
arrested
your mom's
for?
car. You don't have a car, so Marcus had to bring you out. You don't own a car, your mom doesn't own a car, right? So Marcus had to bring you out. So why did we find you with a car key in your pocket?
It wasn't in my pocket. I don't even know where they said that was laying on the ground.
That's yours. She got in, you talked, and what you're telling me seems pretty consistent, that there was nothing physical between the two of you.
No.
But you met her in the car.
I didn't put my hands on her or nothing.
But you met her in the car.
What's going on, man?
Asking you a question.
You
were out there
just tell me
driving kind
what's
of
going
crazy.
on,
Some
man.
people said you were driving kind of crazy.
If I got into a fight with her right there, it would be
impossible for somebody to not be like, hey, this guy's fighting this chick or whatever the case may be.
Brooks is trying to play mind games with the officers by denying everything they say, even at one point faking shoulder pain to try and get out of the interrogation.
I know you heard that. Oh my God.
Want us to check?
Yeah, oh my God.
Yeah, give us a minute.
See
what we got.
Dude, it gotta be something wrong, man.
However, Brooks' argument would come crashing down when officers would show him pictures and videos of him driving the SUV.
What if it was you? What if it wasn't you? Who else would it be?
That you?
No, that's not me.
That's not you.
That's not me.
That's not you.
No, I don't.
Daryl.
That's
Daryl.
That's you.
That's you, Daryl.
Why you say it like that, man?
It's funny to see how Brooks is trying to worm his way out by saying that the videos are not of him, when they clearly are. However, the story does not stop there. In fact, it is only getting started, because the trial of Daryl Brooks would be one of the wildest, most disrespectful trials ever.
He impregnated Erica Patterson when she was a minor in Nevada.
Since you think you know so much,
Once
so
again,
we can
Mr.
open the
Brooks
door
is
on.
being
We can
loud,
open the door on how old she told me she was when we met.
interrupting.
In court, Brooks would end up facing 76 criminal counts. At the beginning of his trial, Brooks would opt to represent himself as a sovereign citizen.
Is it your desire to represent yourself in this case?
It is. I would like to proceed in this matter prior persona, not pro se.
Say that last part again.
I would like to proceed in this matter in pro per, not pro se.
So you're gonna have to tell me what you think that means.
It is me exercising my right to defend myself, to represent myself as a sovereign citizen.
However, the judge would soon learn that Daryl representing himself would be a big mistake.
One more interruption and you're going to be removed to the next courtroom.
That's what you want to do anyway.
It's not what I want to do.
Be a OWI second from 1996.
All right, I need to take a break. This man right now is having a stare down with me. It's very disrespectful. He pounded his fist. Frankly, it makes me scared.
Brooks decided that having a stare down with the judge would be a good idea, but we are getting a little ahead of ourselves. Let's take it back to the first courtroom proceedings where Brooks is representing himself.
So while we're on the record, may I challenge the subject matter jurisdiction?
No, you may not, sir. You need to file a motion in order to do that.
So
Mr. Brooks?
motions I filed haven't even been responded to. I gave
Mr. Brooks,
3
you're
days.
interrupting me
No,
yet
you
again.
just weren't speaking,
All right,
so I didn't
Mr.
interrupt.
Brooks, you are now going to be removed to the
I
other
don't
courtroom.
consent to that.
I have
I'm
had
under
a
duress
dozen or
by having
more interruptions.
I
We'll
have
be
shock-
off the record while
shocks
we
on
do
my
that.
ankle.
Thank you,
I
everyone.
don't agree to a stop. I move for a motion to dismiss for being under duress and being coerced into a contract that I did not consent or agree to.
That is why we're able to see and, when appropriately, hear him when unmuted.
Already, Brooks has been thrown out of the court for interrupting the judge. But the disrespect does not end there, because throughout the trial, Brooks would continue to target the judge, threatening her and making her very uncomfortable.
You're making a record of incorrect statements. That's what you're doing. You're not making a record of
Mr.
not
Brooks,
being
I'm
able.
advising you to be quiet because the jury's coming back out.
You're advising me to be quiet? Is you telling me to be quiet?
I'm advising you to be respectful when the jury
Are you
comes
telling
out.
me to be quiet, or are you asking me?
Because I'm directing you
We
to
said-
have her
we
here
said
at
all
9
that-
a.m.
We said all that at the beginning, man. Like, I don't even want to be in here that much longer. Just do what you got to do so I can get up out of here. I'm tired of being in the courtroom that has no integrity whatsoever. How can you even call yourself a
Mr.
judge?
Brooks, I need to make a record of some
I need to
things.
make a record too.
I need to make a record. He's being removed to the other courtroom. He is yelling at me.
You've never required that before.
That is actually not true, sir.
You've never required that before. Every single time that I've been brought over there, time.
You are just simply trying to delay the inevitable. Please sit down.
I don't care about the inevitable. It was
I need
already
to
written
get
from day
through
one
this
what was going to
hearing.
happen. It doesn't make me lose any sleep about that. I know I'm okay.
Then the witnesses would testify, and this would really put a perspective on the horror that these victims would have to go through.
I've waited for this day, both anxiously, yet ready to share my piece on the matter. I've been to most of the trial that I can make it to, as it is my first year in college, and my mom would want me to put my schooling first. At the time of this tragedy, I was 17 years old, and I was starting my senior year of high school, which most people would think should be your best time of school. But for me, it was anything but that.
All of this would eventually lead to a boiling point. Brooks, trying to defend himself, would be trying to make a case against Erica Patterson, stating that she had assaulted him, but the prosecution was not having it and would drop this bombshell in court.
He impregnated Erica Patterson when she was a minor in Nevada.
Since you think you know so much,
Once
so
again,
we can
Mr.
open the
Brooks
door
is
on.
being
We can
loud,
open the door on how old she told me she was when we
interrupting.
met. We can ask that question
He is
too. Then
over the
Did you
top
ask that?
animated
Do you
right
know
now.
that?
Obviously, Brooks did not want that getting out. It turns out Brooke had impregnated a 15-year-old minor and was charged with statutory sexual assault. To a man that only cared about himself and never about the well-being of others, he would freak out.
No, I'm not going to sit here and let somebody be inaccurate on the record and lie on the record.
Right. Under Illinois versus, and
Don't
he can
sit
show
here and try
it
to
is
think you know what's
inadmissible.
going
She
on.
will not be questioned, and under 90611, I will
Then you gonna
declare
talk
the
about where my
cross-examination
kids live. You don't know where,
closed.
You don't know where, what
Thank
happened
you.
at the
We're in
time when
recess.
all this
1
happened,
hour.
bruh. Get your facts straight. So let's open the door on all of it then, so we can get all of it on the record. Since you think you know so much.
Brooks's extremely disrespectful behavior and arrogance in court would make the proceedings take a lot longer than planned, robbing the victims' families of closure. However, eventually the time would come for Brooks' sentencing, and the court would react like this.
For Leanna Owen. One life sentence for Tamara Durand. One life sentence for Jane Kulik.
Daryl Brooks would end up receiving 6 life sentences and an additional 700 years for his crimes.